I'm Mignonne.
I'm John.
I'm Chanel.
I'm Mandy.
And I'm Kerry.
And
we're Last Stand Brewing.
And you're watching the Beer Diaries.
Last Stand Brewing started as a hobby that me and my wife had taken up about 10 years ago. We officially opened the doors on February 21st of 2015, a little over 9 months now. We're about 15 minutes southwest of Austin, midway between Austin and Dripping Springs off of Fitzhugh Road. We're on a road that has several breweries and distilleries, so it's kind of a nice little beer and wine trail. The name doesn't have anything really to do with the Alamo or Gonzales or anything Texas specific. I am born and raised Texan, so most people think, come and take it. But for us, it was more just about a personal going in on something that we really cared about.
It really embodies taking something you're passionate about in life and taking a stand and just going all in.
I met Kerry at a work poker game. We both worked at Advanced Micro Devices in the past, and our mutual friends knew that we shared a passion for not only home brewing, but also to open a brewery. I had been home brewing at that point for about 14 years, and I invited Kerry and Mandy over for dinner and discovered her passion for dark beers, which was one of mine as well. I was able to share with them my home brew at the time, and they really enjoyed it and appreciated it. And I think that first meeting, was a real milestone for us. I think that's when we all realized this was a very real possibility to partner up.
Originally, I began planning the brewery back in 2010, so there were very few other local breweries getting on the bandwagon at that point, so it was a much smaller scene. I wanted to brew, really big, flavorful beers, clean ales, and that's kind of where we ended up. That's what we're doing right now. Is we're brewing all ales. Some would say true to style. I like to think we brew really clean, very flavorful beers.
So here at Last Stand, we have 4 production beers. We have a BPA, which is a Belgian pale ale. We use candy sugar in that. It has a very high ABV of 8.9%, but it does not taste it. It's very palatable. We call it our ninja beer because it can sneak up on you if you're not careful. We also have an IPA, which is a West Coast inspired IPA. While it's true to the style, it's about 80 IBUs, so it won't take the enamel off your teeth, but it is very balanced. We've received a really good reception to that beer. We also have a pale ale, which is an American-style pale ale. We use Simcoe hops with that. It's a very balanced beer and an excellent sipper. Our coffee porter uses cold brewed coffee. We add it right before packaging. The local roaster is Summer Moon. They use a wood-fired with Texas oak and pecan wood. They get it going with a wagon wheel, and then once they have the momentum going, they hop on a bike with is just geared appropriately with which to turn the drum to continue the wood-fired process.
Our brew house is a 15-barrel system that we had custom built by a company in Colorado called Bennett Forge Works. We also have 2 15-barrel fermenters and 2 7-barrel fermenters.
We have 2 7-barrel fermenters so that we can take batches and we can split them and we can put in different hops or different yeasts and make very different beers, even though the base is exactly the same. And so it's kind of like a fun little science experiment, but in the heart of educating people about beer.
This year we'll probably do about 200 barrels, which is small, but just the right size for where we want it right now. And then next year I think we're planning on doing about 1,000 barrels. Our current distribution is draft only, and we self-distribute. We're about to open up our new tasting room next door, which is going to increase our on-site sales significantly. We're also going to invest in more fermentation capacity. We're going to add 2 more 15-barrel fermenters to the current lineup. And we're also looking at small bottling lines, which we would then put out bottles into production into the retail market as well.
We never really envisioned going out the door with 4 different production beers, but we've had such a great response to our beer that we did end up going out with 4 production beers. And it's kind of incredible to think back to when we wrote our business plan, what we thought versus what's happened. So I think that's a good place to be, but I think the added fermenter space will also help us meet that demand for our 4 different beers.
The difference between good and great beer is the attention to the details. And at Last Stand Brewing Company, we genuinely care about everything from the raw ingredients to the process with which we're using. Those details are what matter. So when you come to Last Stand Brewing, what you'll see is beer that you will appreciate, but you'll notice is really made with a lot of passion.
Hey guys, I'm Allison. I'm one of the brewers here at Last Stand Brewing. I'm here to show you around. Come on in. All right, so we're here inside the brewery now. This is our bar. This is going to be the first stop when you come to the tasting room on the weekends. Right now it's located inside the brewery. Very soon it will be relocated to the new tasting room across the beer garden. As you can see, we have our 4 production beers as well as our 4 rotating taps. These are where we experiment with different alterations to production beers, one-off recipes, single barrel series, farmhouse ales, single malt, single hop beers, and so forth. Over here we have our 2 7-barrel fermenters. These are where we can do our dry hopped beers, keep them very fresh. This is where we can split batches, experiment with different things like yeast and hops. And behind us, we have our 2 15-barrel fermenters. This is where we deal with the bulk of fermentation, such as our coffee porter and Belgian pale ale. And as you can see behind me, we also have bottles for sale. Come on with me to the brew house. All right, we're in the brew house now. And as you can see, there are 2 different sides of the brew house. On one side, we have the production brew house. Once we get a recipe totally dialed in and exactly where we like it, this is where it goes. This is where we make the bulk of our production. On the other side, we have our experimental pilot batch system, where we make our experimental beers, one-offs, and kind of play with new recipes. So up above is our brew house, a pilot brew house, which is mobile. It's built on a pallet, so we can forklift it down, very mobile. And underneath are the fermenters. All right, let's step out into the beer garden. So that wraps up our tour here at Last Stand. Come on out to the beer garden and enjoy a pint with us.